Greetings and welcome to Studio125 Multimedia Complex. This is the Local Artist Highlight. I am your host, Natasha Jonelle, and we are honored today to sit with our highlighted guest. She's an author, a screenwriter, spoken word artist, actress, host, radio personality, and a proud mother. Studio125 Multimedia Complex welcomes Miss Sa Jules. How are you today?
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know I did all that.
You did all that and then some.
Oh, wow.
And then some. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm tired, but I'm good. How are
Okay.
you?
I'm absolutely wonderful. Gratitude for asking and gratitude for coming out here to sit with us today.
Awesome. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate that.
Most definitely. You are a very busy woman.
I am. I am.
Yes, you are. I just talking to you 7 days out of the week, you are hustling and moving.
All day, every day.
All day, every day. Well, let's just jump right into it. Where's Sa Jules from?
I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born and raised. And 9 years ago, I moved to Augusta, Georgia. So,
How in the world did you make your way from Wisconsin to Augusta?
oh man, my best friend died. That was my mom. She passed away, and I just needed to change of pace. Um, so we packed up and we moved here. I had never heard of Augusta, of course. I'm not gonna say of course, but it wasn't. It's up and coming over the past few years,
Right.
but at the time, it was just trying at the time, and so I had a retired military family here. And they said, my mom's older sister lived here. And she said, why don't you, since you need to change your pace, why don't you just move here? And that's what we did. That's what we did.
Definitely a change of pace.
Yeah, it's much slower than back home.
Definitely. I am from the Metro Atlanta area. When I came down here, it was like, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
It's a lot slower than that Atlanta area.
Yeah.
Definitely has grown on me though. I actually respect
hmm
what Augusta brings. So it's definitely been quite the experience. So
Yes.
how has it been for you making that adjustment coming down to the Augusta area?
It was definitely, I had to make my drastic adjustments because back home it was so much faster.
Right.
Um, but when I moved here and I decided to step into the artistry scene, it was just as rich as it was back home. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's some amazing, gifted, talented people here,
That's right.
and I love it. It's home for me, and yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I've met some great people living here, and some people that I feel like I'll be connected to for the rest of my life. You know, I've learned from everyone that I've met here, and I can appreciate that. Whether we still talk or not, I can appreciate that because
Oh,
I
I
walk
love
away
it.
from every situation taking away something that helps me be a better me. So yeah,
That's right.
it's a good place to be.
Oh,
Nice and
that's called
quiet.
growth.
Nice and quiet. Yeah.
It is. It's a lot of spots out here that's really, really laid back and beautiful.
Absolutely.
Very, very beautiful. How did you get started in the on the art scene?
Ooh, that was a long time ago. As a little girl, I used to kind of just mimic what I saw on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I would sit in a splits all the time. I would never sit normal. And my mom made me do tap, ballet, and jazz when I was a little girl. And then when she saw that I would mimic almost perfectly everything I saw come across the TV,
Mm-hmm.
she said, I'm sending her to an art school. I was 11 years old. I did not want to go. I wanted to go to a school with the people I already knew. I wanted to
Right.
follow my friends. But by her making that mom decision, she was
Mm-hmm.
being a parent. I appreciate it so much now because there is where I found my love of poetry because I didn't know anything about poetry. I found my love of poetry at this art school. I learned how to write a screenplay. I learned, blocking for stage performances.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to build sets. I learned how to do stage makeup.
Wow.
I learned all of that. And, directing and producing. I learned so much.
Right.
And at that art school, we used to perform like these dances. I
Hmm.
remember we did Janet Jackson. We redid Rhythm Nation. We redid a bunch of Janet Jackson's videos back in the day, and we created our own, and we wrote our own plays at 11 and
Wow.
performed them. We had this huge, huge theater. It was something like you would pay to go see a play at the Imperial or the Maxwell. That's what our theater looked like at my school.
Wow.
And when plays would come off Broadway, plays would come into town, they would come and rent our theater. And so I felt so good to be able to stand on that stage with seasoned actors who had traveled the world. They did Fiddler on the Roof at my school, and that's major.
Wow.
And I got to be part of the backstage production for that, running the lights, the curtains and all that stuff.
You have so much experience and so
Yes.
much knowledge. How was it being a child actor? You started this at 11
Hmm.
and you have named so many different things that you have learned at this young, tender age. Like, how was it being a child getting all of this information, all this knowledge? I know it was exciting. It sounds like it was exciting,
It was.
but like, how was that as a child?
It was great. I loved it so much. Just being able to learn, because I've always been a person who wanted to learn,
Hmm.
right? So being able to absorb all that knowledge, good, bad, or indifferent, because you learn a lot. And going to that art school, I was able to land my first two professional stage play productions.
Okay.
I did The Quilt. For those people who don't know what The Quilt is, it's a play about this quilt, and each patch, people know that a quilt, it has patches that represent something,
That's right.
And so this play was about people who had died of AIDS.
Mm.
So it was really, really deep. Doing this at 11, 12 years old, that was really, really deep for me because I still didn't understand what AIDS was, but I knew it wasn't good.
Right.
Um, but I played a young girl. I think my name was Treva in the play, and my sister had contracted HIV, and which turned into AIDS, and she died. She had been raped. And so that was the play I did, my first professional production, and then I went on and did Alice in Wonderland. So that was a treat for me because I grew up watching Alice in Wonderland.
Right.
So I got to do that, and I did that at this theater called Circle Stage Theater. It's theater in the round, so you don't just stand on the stage. The seats are actually placed around the stage, so
Mm.
you can actually reach out and touch the audience.
Very
So
interactive.
yeah,
That's dope.
yeah, it was fun. I loved it.
That
I
sounds
loved it.
like something around improv.
Yes.
Like an
I did a
improv
lot of
setup.
improv.
Okay.
A lot of improv. And that's how you keep your skills sharp. That's how I'm able to freestyle in poetry now. That's how if I'm on in a stage play, I'm able to just keep it going. Because I learned all of those skills. They taught us that at that art school. I was there for 3 years. They taught us that at that art school how to improv and just keep it going, keep it flowing.
So let's get into a little bit more about just simply being a child actor.
Mhm.
Now, I know that a lot of things have been going around dealing with the Disney kids and just so much information with how they were being treated. How did that look for you as being a child actor and on the business side of things?
I mostly did plays,
Okay.
so I didn't get into film and production like that professionally
Okay.
outside of my school. But I did discover that I put in just as many hours. They have child labor laws,
Uh-huh.
but I put in just as many hours as the adult actors on set. 12, 13, 14, 15-hour days, but I wasn't getting, and my roles were just as big and just as significant as the adult actors, but I wasn't being compensated.
Mm.
I was probably making maybe like a tenth of what they were making.
Wow.
I discovered that, and at a very young age, I've never been the type to let people just walk all over me. So I spoke up and I said something, and I had to step away. At a young age, I made that decision to step away.
How was that received when you spoke up? about not being compensated, how the adults were.
They told me verbatim, "Your kid, what do you know?"
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh wow, okay." Um, I bring something to your production, and my words were, "After this, after I leave you guys, this whole company will fold." And guess what happened?
It went down.
It went down.
It's gracious. Okay. Words have power.
Yes, absolutely. Because what you can't do is do people dirty and
That's
expect to
right.
prosper. So
That's right.
I didn't know it was gonna happen that quickly. And I was just talking, I was being dramatic. I seen this on TV. So I was just saying I heard on TV. And then it ended up happening. And I was like,
Okay.
"Ooh, okay, girl."
So on adding to being a poet here on the scene in Augusta, you're also screenwriting as well.
Mhm.
Let's talk about some of the screenplays that you've wrote.
Okay. I wrote a play called Purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We did it at Arts in the Heart a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So that went very well. It was only a cast of three, myself and two other actors, Kevin Bowman and Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
We did, it was about a young lady who really wanted to be a singer, but she couldn't sing. But everything she tried to do, she would always just sing, sing, sing. And her friends were there to tell her, like, "Girl, this is not your calling. You sound terrible.
Okay.
Do poetry. That is your strong point." Because she could write, but she just couldn't sing. And so finally, by the end of the play, she accepted what her natural calling and gift was, which was poetry. And that's me. I wanted to be a singer because at the art school, everybody could sing.
Right.
And there were just a couple of people who did poetry. Nobody really knew what it was about or what it was way back in the early 90s. Um, Even though we had Maya Angelou, Nikki Giovanni, Langston Hughes, we had all of them, but
Right.
it really just wasn't as respected in the early 90s. And I wanted to be a singer. That was me. And so I wrote that stage play and it went over very well. And to this day, I still try to sing, but I sound terrible.
Shower singer.
I don't even think it sounds good in the shower. I
Okay.
don't. I don't. Sometimes the water flickers like, "Girl, stop."
That's funny. So how was it when you came on the scene here in Augusta and you start dealing in the arts here?
Oh man, I was really nervous because nobody had known me. I went to a couple of poetry shows at Mad Studios. Shout out to Catherine the Great. I went to a couple of shows there, and then they stopped Mad Studios, and I said, "I really want to do something." Because I wasn't hearing about poetry, and come to find out, it had started to die down here. It was
Mm-hmm.
really really big, and then it started to die down.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "I want to do something, but how would I get my name out there?"
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do a real raw show, and my first show here was Life Logs. I found a publicist, a PR person that helped me, kind of brand myself here a little bit. Did a photo shoot, did some promotion. She connected me to the top poets in the city, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing," including the poet laureate at the
Mm-hmm.
time, Anthony Sleepy Eyes Carter. So he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do your show." I'm like, "Oh my God." I really can't pay you guys much because I don't know how it's going to sell. They weren't worried about that. I paid
Mm-hmm.
them something, but they weren't worried about the money.
Right.
My first show, we did it at 601 Broad Street, sold out. I was super excited about that. And people came because they were like, "Well, who is this girl? We
Mm.
don't know her." And it was a curiosity plus the excitement for poetry all over again. So after that, I'm like, I'm gonna do this every year. And so I made Life Logs an annual event. We just did it I did it for 4 years. And
Okay.
then that was in 2016. And in 2017, I created Dope Spit, which is a monthly platform for artists to showcase. And it's not just for poetry, it's for all the arts. If you're a musician, a dancer, a singer, a hip hop artist, a poet, comedian, I provide that platform so that people can showcase their artistry and their talents.
Okay. So would you say Augusta received you well as an artist on the scene?
Initially, I think I was received pretty good, and I think it was that combination of we're bringing poetry back and who is this girl? It was a curiosity.
Right.
Um, but some, just there's always ebbs and flows of stuff. You got to take the good with the bad. Sometimes people will be like, well, who does she think she is? She's not from here. How could she be doing stuff in our city type? I dealt with a lot of that in 2017, 2018, 2019. Um, and it weighs on you. It takes a toll on you.
Mm.
And it makes you just want to quit and give up. And I had a couple of conversations with some people who felt that way. And they said, well, I can do it better. And so I
Oh,
said,
okay.
hey, you know what? It was my vision. It was given to me. But what I'll do is I'll take a back seat and I'll let you do it.
Mm.
And we'll see how that goes. And if you don't do it, I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
And they didn't do it and I came back.
Okay.
So you have to understand what's your calling.
That's
And
right.
you cannot see somebody else doing something and think you can do it better just because you feel a way or just because they did it first.
Right.
They were given the vision. You weren't. And so I dealt with that. I still deal with that, but it's
I
okay.
I think a lot of it is people just need to learn how to work together.
Yes.
It's okay to work together.
It's a beautiful thing when you have a team.
That's right.
And I don't want to do it all by myself. I'm
That's right.
tired. I work a job, two jobs. I don't want to do it all by myself. And I've tried to do the collaboration and people go, I've heard well, she thinks she's our boss. No, but I will hold you accountable.
That's right.
So if we sit down and we have an initial meeting, and in that meeting we say what each one of us are going to do, and we have these deadlines, I'm going to meet my deadline. If you don't meet yours, we're going to have a conversation about it, because now I have to pick up your slack, and people didn't like that. So it's not that you work for me, we work
Right.
together, but you have to pull your weight and I have to pull mine to make this beautiful project.
I think it's a lot of people just don't like communication. I think
They
it's
don't.
a huge thing with dealing with any type of relationship
Absolutely.
at any part. Even if it's in the business realm, people don't like communication.
They
It
don't.
it makes them uncomfortable, and I think it's just because they're just ignorant to it. They don't understand how to communicate effectively.
I think that's part of the problem, but also people want the benefits. They want to reap the benefits. They
Mm,
want the beauty. They want the
that's right.
romantic side of the story, not realizing that it's work behind that. You know what I mean? Like take a movie production, a film, all these blockbuster hits that are out there. For those 2 hours that movie is on that screen, you know how many countless hours it took to pull that together? The casting, the wardrobe, the locations, the budget, the getting people to be on board and agree with your vision,
Right.
to see it too.
Right.
To and you know how many times they probably cast it for each one of those roles and the previous actor didn't work out? It takes hours. Some movies are in production for over a year.
Right.
Sometimes scripts sit on a table and have been read over countless times for months on end, years on end before they even start to cast.
Mm,
So it takes a lot. Even music videos. Music videos are 3 to 5 minutes, right?
right.
That process takes a long time to do, and a lot of people are not willing to put that work in. When they figure out, oh my God, this actually is work, you can't just go in and the finished product is great, then they get scared and they back away.
Right. So you are definitely doing a great job of
Thank you.
providing a platform out here for others. I know speaking with you, that is a mission
Mhm.
of yours, is to provide that platform.
Absolutely.
I do remember you saying that a lot of people are asking you about why you aren't performing as much. Do you care to elaborate?
Oh man, when you have to be the booking manager, the agent, the road manager, the stage manager, the accountant, the artist, it gets to be a lot.
Right.
Um, Plus I have to work, because I do have bills I have to pay. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm a mother as well, so I have to be able to. Even though my son is 21, I still have to be able to provide. He's 21, but he's still a kid.
That's
Because
right.
sometimes they be like, "Mom, I need $50," and if I'm not working, I can't give him $50.
Right.
Um, but it got to be very taxing, and I didn't get to practice my pieces as much as I would like, right? So it's time for me. And also me taking care of everybody else. The MC Hammer syndrome, me making sure you have a place to perform, me making
Mm.
sure your voice is heard. I kind of put myself on the back burner, if that makes sense.
It
It's
does.
not fair to me, but when you don't have the help that you need, you don't want to see anybody else struggle like that.
Right.
So I tried to be as available to other artists that are serious, not just because they say, "Oh, they on TV, I want to be on TV too." No, I don't waste my time with people like that, but people who are serious, I try to be available to them and give them the guidance and the help and the tools that I didn't get, the things that I had to figure out myself. So that's the main reason why I don't perform as much anymore. I still have an arsenal of material. Like, don't get that twisted. I still write because I'll write at a stoplight. I'll write in the grocery store. I'll write when I'll take a little break at work and I'll get to writing, or, if I have my tablet or if I have my phone with me, and bang out a poem in like 20, 30 seconds. I just haven't had the time to dedicate to memorize my pieces and,
Gotcha.
and step on stages.
So you brought up about your son. Let's talk about motherhood and then also being in the artistry. How do you find that? How have you found that balance over the years?
It has not been easy because I was a mother who, my son is my pride and joy. He's my greatest. I don't want to call him an accomplishment, but he's the greatest thing that I've ever done because my son has never been in trouble. He's a very respectful, respectable young man. He's found his career path, and I'm extremely proud of him. Um, he's out here, he's paying his bills, he's living on his own, he's doing what I raised him to do. You know, he treats women well. He doesn't fight. He's a second-degree black belt. He's an awesome basketball player. He played football for a few years. I kept my son very busy so that the streets wouldn't get him.
I love it.
Um, and we had a conversation a couple months ago, and he was like, "Mom," he said, "you kept me so busy, I didn't have time to get in trouble." And I said that was the goal, that was the plan, because I saw what these streets are doing to our young black men,
That's
and I
right.
don't like it. It's very sad, and I'm scared every time my son is not in my presence. You know what I mean? So I tried to make sure he was very busy. So it was all about, when I was bringing him up, it was all about making sure he was situated. So whatever I had going on took a backseat, and if I had time, I would get to me. But it was about making sure he was raised properly. Um, but the balance was not easy. When my son was in school, he was not only in school, but he was in a sport a season. He also did taekwondo in addition to those sports every season. And I was in school full time, getting my bachelor's degree, and I was working full time. It was not easy, but I had a schedule and I stuck to it. It's about discipline and self control. And that's what I did.
It sounds like a lot of what your mother instilled in you
Hmm.
trickled down onto your son.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like a very solid foundation. But it's really dope to hear someone that is my age and to hear how you raise your child and just your journey through life, because
Hmm.
we're all different. We all have different journeys. We all have different lessons.
Yes.
So it's really awesome to hear a positive experience. So it's
Thank
really
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, 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 yes. So let's jump into some of your projects. You released a book back in February.
I did.
February 12th, 2020. Let's talk about it.
2022. This year.
2022, excuse me.
that's okay.
Emotionally unstable.
Yes. Woo. It says so much. And the crazy thing is when I came up with the book title, and now I'm like meeting people and we're having conversations, and I'm like, I apply my book title to kind of like everything. People will tell me like stories. I'm like, ooh, emotionally unstable. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just reality.
Right.
We're in a day and age where people are going through so much and there is no relief. That's the crazy thing. People always tell you, joy comes in the morning. I'm waiting for mornings, several of them, but I keep getting this weeping that's enduring in night after night after night, as well as everybody else.
Right.
But my book, it's a poetry book, my own words, my story, my life, and it's about love, it's about being woke. It's about depression, it's about anxiety, suicide, being in bad relationships, wanting to be loved, learning how to love yourself all over again, not taking mess from people. It's everything. It's like this gumbo of my life. And that's why it's called emotionally unstable, because in a day, we go through so many different emotions. And this book, when you read it, it's kind of like all over the place. But you follow it. It's an unorganized, organized journey of emotions.
Okay.
And you can follow it from cover to cover.
An unorganized, organized. Say that again.
Unorganized, organized journey of emotions.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's dope. It sounds like a book that will definitely help others.
Yes. It a lot of times when people go through things, they think they're the only ones.
Right.
When you read this book, you're gonna be like, dang, she went through that too. I went through that. Or I'm dealing with that. Or I feel like that. So I'm not the only one. Oh, she's still here. So I can still be here too. It's okay. I want people to read my words and know that you can have every single emotion that you have, and that's okay.
That's right.
You don't have to live in the bad ones.
That's
You
right.
don't have to live in the sad ones. You can come out of them. And I'm not saying that I have it all together, because I struggle with that sometimes too. But it's okay to feel the way you feel. I want people to accept who they are and try to take strides into growing and evolving yourself every single day. And if you can't take it day by day, take it moment by moment.
That's right.
And you'll get up to day by day.
That's right.
So that's
because the
what my
only
book
thing
is
that's
about.
present is now, right? That's the only thing that
Absolutely.
exists is right now.
Absolutely.
That's right. So putting this book out and getting your emotionally unstable information out there to the world so that you can help and provide some tools as well for those who may have some of your journey, a part of their journey as well. What was that process like for you writing this book? So I know it had to be a roller coaster, reliving and just pen to paper.
I actually wrote the book a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And it had just been sitting because I was scared to release it. It's scary when you invite people into who you are, because you open the door for judgment.
Right.
And people will rather judge instead of realizing that they're going through the same thing. It's easier to judge other people than to shed light on your own story, your own life.
That's right.
So I sat on it for 2 years. And then something in me last August of 2021, was like, girl, put that book out. Put the book out. And I sent it off to an editor. I said, do not change the format of my words. I want to know if things are spelled correctly and if it flows. Can you follow me? And um, because with poetry, it's not a traditional book.
Right.
So you can't just change the format of things. You can't move a line. It's written that way for a reason.
Right.
So she read it, the editor read it, and she was like, oh my God. She said, I really enjoy reading it from beginning to end. I think there were like 2 words in there that probably weren't spelled right. She really didn't have notes for me. She said, this is it. So I said, okay. I took it from her. I went and my cover is a photo of me that I took in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And there's pain in my eyes. And because right before that photo shoot, I got into a domestic dispute with my ex. And after the shoot. So there was pain in my eyes. And the photographer was able to capture that. I didn't want him to capture any pain.
Right.
But he did.
Right.
And it was the only one of those photos in that whole collection that had that pain and that fury in it. And I said, I'm going to use this as my book cover. And my photo is emotionally unstable. And so I got the cover art made for it. And I went through the whole process with Kindle Publishing. And I said, bam, I'm going to set my release date. I wanted it for my birthday, but I couldn't pull my book release together by my birthday because I had some other things going on. But we got it set for February 12th, which is when I did my book release party. And here it is. And the sales are going very well. I love getting a royalty check every month. It's amazing.
I know it is. I know
I've sold out of all the physical copies. I need to order some more so I can have some on hand.
Okay.
But that's a beautiful thing. I've made 2 orders for physical copies in the past 4 months, and they've all sold out. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. I hear support. Very, very good support.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Overwhelming support is the word I'm looking for. So that's awesome. So what other projects are you working on right now?
We're in production for a film a movie that I co-wrote. It's a horror film called Blood Will Shed Tonight. I wrote that with J. Paul of CTC United. So I do not watch horror movies, but I co-wrote a horror film. I'm so scared of them. And when I read the full script, I got scared. I slept with all the lights on in my house that night. But filming has been great. The actors are amazing. Working with Jazz or J. Paul has been amazing. It's a great experience. We're filming today as well. So after I leave here, I got to go over to the studio.
See, busy.
But it's been a great experience. I'm excited. It'll be released on Tubi in a few months. So I'm super excited about that. I just got casted in another production, which I cannot release the name of it yet, NDAs, but we had fun shooting the opening introduction scenes for that last week. So I'm excited about that project. I was casted as a lead in a web series a few years ago called Sisterhood. It was turned into a movie, and it's released on, Tubi and Amazon. And I think it's on Amazon. But we're getting ready to, in a few months, go into production for the sequel to that. So I'm excited about that as well. I have a lot of things coming up. My EP is almost ready, so I'm getting ready to shoot videos for that. My second book is coming up.
So wait, let's go back to the EP. Mm-hmm. So your EP should be rolling out when?
My EP should be rolling out for my birthday, January 22nd.
Aquarius.
Yes.
Team Aquarius.
That's right. Okay. We the best.
That's awesome.
And now that I actually said it on camera, I guess I have to make it
You gotta
happen.
make it happen. Gotta make it happen.
But yeah, I have 2 more songs to record for it, and we're shooting videos. I want to have everything lined up for it when it's time to roll out, so people can have visuals and not only just the music, but the visuals to go along with it. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
Just sitting here with you and discussing just goodness, there's so many layers to you
Yes.
of amazingness.
Thank you.
Just your life and what you've lived and learned from through the years is very, very inspiring.
Thank
And
you.
it is absolutely amazing and very privileged to meet and to get to know you. So this is absolutely awesome. So you are also an entrepreneur on top of all these other hats. You have Jules Royale.
Yes.
So these are handcrafted products that you've been making for over 4 years.
Yes.
Let's dig into this a little bit. What made you get into these handcrafted products?
I have eczema, and just the lotions and things in the store, they were just watered down, becoming more and more watered down, and they weren't working, but the price was going up. And I was like, I need something that's going to help moisturize my skin, that's going to be good for my hair, because I've been natural for a number of years. And then I locked my hair and I said, I just need something. Natural hair and locks became a trend. It became a whole fad. And I'm like, well, I don't. And they were, just price gouging all these products in the store, and they weren't working.
Right.
So I was like, well, let me figure out something. It really just started with the Whip body butter because I have eczema. Somebody thought that I was copying off of them. I did not. When I started making it, I did not make it to sell.
Okay.
I made it for myself. To this day, this girl has blocked me on social media, and she is upset with me because she thinks she made a body butter as well, but she really wasn't promoting it or selling it. And she thought that I was copying off of her. I was like, girl, I got skin issues over here, and your product didn't work for me either. And I'm not being mean, but it's just she has a good product, but I had to make what works for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So some of the things that she used in there, they didn't work with my condition.
Right.
That's no shade to her because her product worked for other people.
Right.
And I saw the results and I tried it. It just didn't help me.
Right.
And so I had to make my own. And I posted on Facebook and I said, look what I made, y'all. And people thought it was like butter, like you spread on your bread.
Right.
And I was like, no, it's a body butter because I want to use it to help my eczema because it's in weird places like under my armpits. It's in my ears. It's weird. And so a couple of people from back home was like, oh, send me some. How much is it? I'm like, how much? And then my homegirl in Texas was like, send me some. How much is it? I'm like, y'all, I didn't make this to sell. And I kept getting like this flood of send me some because I'm dealing with the same stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, fine. I think I stumbled into a business here.
Right.
And so that's how Jules Royale came about. It really was not to be stepping on anybody's toes. And I don't understand how when one Black person does something and another Black person does something similar, how it's deemed as you're taken from me. Because what happens when McDonald's started their business and Burger King came along, that didn't stop McDonald's from doing what they were doing. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Wonder Bread came out, and then what is the other? It's like a Sun something. It's in the yellow bag, but it's bread too. And then Great Value has their bread. Right. It didn't stop the bread companies. They're still moving and shaking.
Right.
And guess what? They sit right next to each other on the shelves.
That's right.
In the store. McDonald's is right across the street from Burger King.
Always.
Always. And Chevron is right across the street from Sprint. Yeah. Like, what are we upset about?
Right.
Your product caters to your group of people. Mine caters to me. I mean, my group of people. And there's like, you're mad at me, but you're not mad at all these other with body butter companies that came out, right?
Right.
Or could they be mad at you because you came along after them?
Right.
Is Jergens upset with us because we created a body cream
Right.
to help moisturize skin? No, they're still processing and producing their stuff and they're pushing.
Right.
So like we can do similar things. We can even do the same things.
Right.
Your intentions have to be pure.
That's right.
And all you have to do is have a conversation to find out why someone did what they did.
That's right.
It's communication, what you talked about earlier.
Communication.
Effective communication.
And which is a lot of people run from it.
Absolutely. They scared to talk.
Yeah. I had to learn how to communicate. It's very, very beneficial because the biggest part of communication is listening.
Absolutely.
That has become a craft.
Yes. And it's hard sometimes because sometimes in communication, you could feel attacked, right? Because somebody is telling you what you did wrong to them and they didn't like it or how it made them feel. And instantly you're attacked and you go, well, they should have said it this way. No, they said it the way they had to.
Right.
The way that they knew best, but it's up to you to listen objectively.
That's right.
You cannot, everybody's not going to speak the way you want them to because you all come from different walks of life.
That's right.
You're raised differently.
That's right.
You have to learn to listen, right? So I used to feel attacked too. Well, Sa, you did this and Sa, you did. I'm like, wait a minute. Now, hold
That's
on.
right.
But then I started going, I don't want people to do that to me when I tell them how I'm feeling.
Right.
So now I listen and I make the adjustments that I need to make so that they're comfortable or so that I don't offend them again.
That's right.
And that's what we have to do.
I have I listen in layers. And I always start off with friend first because that keeps me from ever feeling anything. Because when your friend is talking to you, you're always willing to listen to your friend talk, right?
Absolutely.
You're able to accept how they feel and what they're telling you. So I had to learn that, especially with being married and having children and all these different personalities, being a sister, got a mom, and you want to be able to hear what someone is telling you, versus always because you're the one involved in the ship with them.
Absolutely.
So you have to listen in layers. So I go from friend to mom to whatever business, whatever I need to, and I have to listen in layers. And then I have to take it and process it.
Absolutely.
It is a whole process.
It's an art form.
Yeah.
It comes natural to some. Others have to work at it, and some of them don't even try to see it.
That's right.
But I guess that's what makes the world what it is today. We're all so different. But yeah, I love the communication thing, and I encourage people to learn how to communicate effectively.
That's right.
And just because someone is telling you something doesn't mean they're trying to jump down your throat. Let them say it.
Right.
And a lot of times people are engaged in these back and forths and they're not listening. They just waiting for their turn to talk. And sometimes they can't wait. They just jump on the words of the other person. And it's like, oh God, y'all. So, but it is what it is.
It is. We have an entire community that really needs to tap into learning effective communication and willing to grow in that area. Our mission here is to create that bridge between families so that we can learn how to communicate with each other effectively, so that we can get out here and actually really be able to help each other and get through to each other. So we want to be able to create that safe space. Awesome. So that you can talk to each other. So that is very important because we had to learn how to do it ourselves.
It's a beautiful thing.
So you got to teach others. So when you learn something, you teach others. So I see you brought a mug here that has your book on here. So and you also have your book. I just wanted to flash these out to the camera. Oh, yes.
Let me take my keys out of here.
This is dope.
I just want to tell people, be patient. Everybody has something going on. And remember, you may be asking this person for something, but other people could be asking that person for something. And they're just one person.
That's
just
right.
one. So allow them an opportunity to breathe. Have some grace with them. The same grace that you want other people to have with you, have it with other people, because folk be breaking down and you don't know what they deal with behind closed doors.
That's
Some
right.
people make it look good in public, but when they go home or when they get in their car, they break down.
That's right.
Um, I've seen it. I've walked up on people in the middle of a breakdown because the weight of the world is on their shoulder and people are just taking, and never pouring into them. So make sure you're pouring into people. Make sure you're having patience with people, sending out love and good vibes. And know that if a person steps away, they're not doing it because they're trying to be mean or get away from you. They need a break, and breaks are important.
That's right.
So yeah, we got
Self-care.
absolutely,
Self-care is very,
absolutely,
very important.
absolutely. And also, if you are a person who's hard on yourself, sit down and write out the things that you've done over the past 6 months, and you'll see that you've done a lot. I had to do this. I was told to do that by Miss Lucinda Clark. She mentored me back in 2019 when I was like, I have not done anything. And at
Wow.
that point in time, I had created 2 platforms in 3 years that were very successful. They gave artists an opportunity to showcase their talents amongst doing videos and writing scripts. But I felt like I hadn't done anything. So just take a moment and stop being so hard on yourself. Go back 6 months and write down all of the things. You can even do a scrapbook because that's what she told me to do, a scrapbook. And I couldn't even get through the 6 months. My scrapbook was full.
Okay.
And I was like, I really have been doing stuff.
That's
So we
right.
can be hard on ourselves because of the expectations others put on us. And don't do that. I had to learn the hard way because I stressed myself out really bad. So, but yeah.
So do you incorporate anything into your daily, like meditation, prayer? What helps keeps you at that level?
I used to meditate before I went to bed and when I woke up in the mornings, but now I get up before the sun comes up and I go to bed like well after the sun's gone down. But throughout the day, I take breathers. So sometimes my breathers are for a minute, sometimes they're for 10 minutes. And it's meditation. I go and I'll find me a quiet spot where there's like absolutely no noise. And if there is noise, I put in my AirPods because they drown out all the noise.
Right.
And I'm just alone with myself. So sometimes when I'm alone with myself, I'm just thinking, or I try to just really relax my mind, or sometimes I have to cry. But I have to get it out. I have to get whatever is bothering me out of me so that I can go back and be a functioning member of society.
Mm.
Because I don't want to end up in the crazy house, or um, I don't want to be one of those people on the news. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where the pressures get to you so bad that you take it out on others or you take it out on yourself. I don't want to be that person. Um, and I do want to help people.
Right.
I know sometimes I be like, people just get on my nerves, and they do. They do. But that I let them bother me. So that's when I have to take my moments. Um, and that's important. I think everyone should take moments. And I do that several times a day, every day. I don't miss a day.
That's awesome. I think just acknowledging, having that self-awareness that you need that. A lot
Hmm.
of people, they don't have that self-awareness,
Yeah.
with just being able to identify that they need to have these things in their lives. I know at one point I was getting up at like 3:30 in the morning just to study,
Hmm.
meditate, and just to have time to myself, because my day was always jam-packed with so many things that I had to do. And
Absolutely.
I couldn't find time to just be, and to have myself at a balance. So
Hmm.
I would wake up before the sun came up and I would just kind of go into my own little space and ground and meditate, study, write, because writing became very important for me.
Hmm.
Um, still is very
Absolutely.
important. It helps bring that balance. So I feel that 150%,
Yes.
because it definitely helps every single day.
Yes.
It helps keep me balanced and keep
Yes.
my emotions in check.
And
Big time.
one of the greatest things I love to do when I get in the car and I'm driving somewhere from one destination to the next, I don't even turn on music. It is so silent in my car.
I like that too now.
Yes, I love it.
Me
And,
too.
and I usually leave early so I can arrive to my destinations on time.
Right.
And then if I'm there like 10, 15 minutes early, oh my goodness, that's such a treat for me. I am sitting there and I am enjoying it. And do not come knock on my window because I'm going to have a whole attitude, because this is my moment to just balance myself. We have to rebalance ourselves all day, every day.
Right.
And so I enjoy my car rides alone. And when I pull up to the house, nobody's in my house. It's just me. But I still sit in the car and I wait and I wait and I wait some more. And then I finally go in the house. And then when I walk in the house, I'm like, oh, more silence. I love it. It's dark. I love it. I love sitting in the dark. I get that from my grandma. But it feels so good. It's nice, calming, soothing, and relaxing. And that's how I unwind from my day, whatever, because every single day for me is busy. There's not a day that goes by where I don't have to do something. So that's how I wind down and get ready for bed. And then I do this. I sit in the shower. I don't stand in it. I sit in my shower. And that feels so good. It's almost like being under a waterfall.
Yes.
And
It is amazing.
and sometimes I'll have like ocean sounds playing when I'm in the shower, which is weird because the water's already
I was
beat
about
down
to
on
say,
me.
wait a minute now. Why you in the shower? You have the
But
ocean sounds.
yes, the combination is just it makes me feel like I'm at the beach, right?
Okay.
So I hear the ocean in the background, and when the water actually touches me, it's real to me. It becomes real. I feel like I'm at the beach because I love the beach and I try to go several times a year. So these are things that I do to just kind of calm myself down. I'm not saying they always work because sometimes people, boy, they will amp you up. But this is how I keep myself in check and get myself back in alignment.
I love it.
Thank you.
Well, gratitude.
Thank you.
Gratitude for your alignment, for your journey.
Thank you.
Appreciate who you are in this moment.
Thank you.
And I do want to say gratitude for coming to sit down and talk to me today. We welcome and we appreciate you here at Studio 125 Multimedia Complex. Again, this is your host, Natasha Jonelle, and I am here with Sa Jules. And I want to say peace.